Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
Medications. Everybody talks about that. It's funny when you're at a party, the first thing they say, "What, are you on any medicine?" And, it's like, this is weird. So I always like to have the expert, not so much as a physician about medicine, but as an entrepreneur who wants to get you the best medicine at the fairest prices. And so I always ask Arthur OKEN to come on our show. He is the entrepreneur of SavOn Global Meds. Thank you for being here, Arthur.
Always a pleasure to see you.
Okay, so do you have that too when you go to now? Of course, you're famous for what you do with your medication. Do you have people that accost you the minute you get there and say, "Oh, listen, Arthur, I have a problem"?
It's amazing. Where I live, I have to hand out the BOOMER Times because just so they could see my picture.
So it's great that you've taken this on. This is very unusual. We're very proud to have this in Boomer Times. As a matter of fact, there have been other kinds of Canadian companies that have contacted us, and I've kind of stayed away from it because I feel that you do such a great job and we want you to really be the star. So tell us a little bit about what you wrote in our September issue.
September issue was, remind me.
Yeah, we do have to see. We
don't have insurance?
No, yeah.
Okay. This is actually a talk that I give to some community groups. My agreement with them is to talk about what's available, and I don't talk about my company per se, but if people want to talk to us, then I'll just hand out my card and have them call me.
Sure.
Basically, and it just amazed me how many clients that we have that don't have insurance. A lot of them took basic Medicare, and they never took the supplement for the drugs. They're hopeful that that doctor will keep them on low-cost generics. And with the way that medications are changing these days, doctors would like you to get on sometimes a much better medication for your COPD, for example, than the one that you're using. And that medication is very expensive.
It's funny you should mention that. When they first came out with the rule about people joining for the prescription drugs, I don't take any medication. So I said, I'm not doing that. And I didn't realize what the problem was. When you don't do it, you're not helping all the other people. And so, in a sense, it went 5 years. And I then heard, if I don't do it now, and even now, I pay a penalty because I didn't do it at the beginning. Do you know that?
Not aware of that.
Oh, yeah, I pay a penalty for not jumping in. I take it now, only I don't use medication, maybe one, but nothing, only one every 3 or 4 months. But I pay a penalty because I didn't jump in and take that. Isn't that interesting?
Yes, I wasn't quite aware of that.
You go look at that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying some people look at the cost of the supplemental insurance and they say, it's $70 a month. That comes to over $1,000, almost $1,000, $840 a year. I don't spend that much on drugs. What do I need it? But as we get older, you don't realize that all of a sudden you end up with a bad knee, or all of a sudden you start coughing, you end up in the hospital, and lo and behold, all of a sudden you're getting all these new medications that you never were taking before. The low-cost generics are wonderful. When people call us and say, could you give me a price for a low-cost generic, I tell them you're better off going to your pharmacy because I can't match their prices. And we're straightforward with our clients. We tell them, go to your pharmacy. Let me go into what I usually, if I call it the spiel that I use. If you don't have insurance and you don't really have a great income, there are charities that run sites on the internet where you can buy medication through them. There are organizations, for example, I believe the Diabetic Association or an offshoot of it will sell diabetic medications to some people who can't afford them. One of the most obvious ones, and I say obvious, but not necessarily the one that you want to take, is that the manufacturers, when they have a brand new medication, are willing to give it to you for a very low cost if you get it through the manufacturer, as long as you meet certain qualifications. You can't have any money. You can't be on insurance. Everybody who says, I'm going to get it from them, and they end up calling me afterwards to say, I don't qualify. If you can get on it, the whole idea behind that is to get you to use the product for a year or 3 months or 6 months, depending on the way it's structured. And then you then have to pay the full price. And that full price could be mind-boggling. And they've got you committed to it.
Oh, so that's how that works.
Well, it seems good until you try it. I mean, I'm sure you have a lot of listeners who have done it and have done it successfully, knowing what the drawbacks are. But as I said to you, is we have so many people who call us and said, I thought I would call up the manufacturer and get the product, and I didn't qualify because I have insurance. I didn't qualify because my Social Security was too much money.
Well, in a sense, it was good that the manufacturer will take people with no money and who are poor and help them.
There are, as I said, but another thing that I like, and which I will often tell people to do, is there are almost everywhere you go, you see these discount cards. To be truthful, there's only one good operation. It's called GoodRx. I'm not being paid by them. I've done it for my daughter who didn't have insurance. GoodRx will also give you a card, and they give you 15% off whatever the price is. It's not on a $600 medication. It will take off 15%, but it's still going to cost you $500 and change.
When I bought my long-term health care insurance, they gave me a little discount with it.
But if you go on the GoodRx site and you put up your medication, they'll give you where to go for the lowest price, and it's far better than a 15%. And I walk into my pharmacist who knows us and says, could you give me the GoodRx price? And I mean, I'm not trying to shove away people, because I know our prices are often lower than theirs. But if you don't want to be using a telephone, and getting online, with us, this GoodRx is a good operation. The other thing is, and I don't mean to be hogging the...
No, you're it. You're the one that knows all this. I don't.
People say, I'm just going to take the basic Medicare plan, But there are plans out there that you don't have to pay anything for. They're called Advantage plans. What happens is you go on an Advantage plan, and Blue Cross, United Healthcare, Humana, they all offer them. And it comes with a prescription service with it. And you don't pay anything. All they do is they accept your Medicare from the government, the portion. They get paid by the government, the Medicare. And then they run your doctors, and they run the prescriptions. And so for people who are interested just in basic Medicare, just get the Advantage plan. It doesn't cost you a penny, and you're not going to be paying that much to doctors, your copays, etc. But depending on the plan you take, they have HMOs, and some of them have PPOs. And I use the Advantage plan. It's when you get to the expensive medications, I'm stuck like everyone else. I'm in a tier 3 or tier 4. Or even one that's not covered. I happen to use a operation such as SavOn Global Meds.
Well, let me give everyone. So, if they're interested in actually your SavOn Global Meds, and they get Boomer Times, they'll be able to see all the medications that you listed on this page. But
that's just a sample.
Yeah, but you have so many more. But it gives you an idea. So, they want you to call them for the prices on brands, strengths, or dosages not shown on that particular page. Their local telephone is 561-432-3294. Or if you're not local, you're getting this, whether it was from the YouTube that you're seeing Arthur. Arthur OKEN is the owner, OKEN, and you can call toll free, which is 888-980-8564. Now, the nice thing is when you call, there's someone that answers the phone, unlike a lot of times you call and you just leave a message and you have to hit 1, hit 2, hit 3. There's a nice person there that's going to answer your questions, right?
Yes, we're open from 9:30 to 5:30, Monday to Friday. We're not open weekends. That's when you are going to get the machine if you call afterwards, but we make it our business to call you back the next morning, or just happens to be if our lines are busy and you get the machine, we'll call you back. I have a number of people who answer the phones, including myself. And
I want you if I call.
Well, people do ask for me.
I know, I'm sure, because you started this. So your article then, the title of the article is Things to Know About Buying Prescription Medicine from Overseas. That's going to be next month. So be sure you get your October issue to read that. But let's just stick with what we've been talking about now, and that's what to do if you don't have prescription insurance. So what else can you tell us if you don't have prescription insurance? I mean, how are they going to get it now? Do they just, as you said, an HMO, but there are different...
I don't know whether there's a sign-up. Right now, there's a sign-up period
I don't know
starting now through the December for seniors.
For HMOs, right?
No, not HMOs. You can get PPOs also for your
PPOs
Medicare
and
insurance.
HMO. Okay.
Medicare supplement, it's called.
All right.
And this is the time that you want to be looking at them. To just go off course, you decide whether you want an HMO, which is less expensive, or do you want a PPO, which is a little more expensive, but you have choices of doctors that are not necessarily a Humana doctor, for example, which is Humana only offers HMOs, I believe.
Okay, and so will they be able to look up the medication that they want, or it's just all medication that they get if they're on an HMO?
No. You depending if you have a computer, and you are and you have a plan, whatever it is, you can go to their site and you can bring up the cost of the medications. They'll tell you the tier. They'll tell you what the
they will.
They'll also tell you what the retail price is, and that's very key because once you hit $3,500, I believe. By the way, the price you pay a copay for a medication. Let's say you pay $130, and that $130 doesn't apply towards the initial stage. It's the retail price that the manufacturer will give you. And that medication could be $1,700, not the $130 that you're paying. And
outrageous.
All of a sudden, it's in April, and some of our clients are saying, I'm in the donut hole already. They take expensive medications. They weren't paying a lot for the donut hole, not the donut hole, for their copay, but the retail price was prohibitive.
But they can call you and get a less expensive.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's the tier 3, the tier 4. This year, when you're in the donut hole, it's whatever the retail price is for a brand at 40%. If you're taking an expensive generic and you're in the donut hole, it's 50%. Some of these costs of some of these medications just blow me away.
There actually are expensive generics?
If you're taking the generic version of Gleevec.
What's that for?
That's for cancer.
Yeah.
It's a cancer product.
Yeah.
It's for leukemia, I believe. It was one of the first ones to come out, and it was a wonderful product. And it's become generic already. But the price for the generic is prohibitive. It's just mind-boggling. I know, if my memory serves me right, I think the generic cost $14,000 for a...
Arthur, have you been drinking?
Well, I got to tell you,
Come on, Arthur. No way. Are you kidding?
No, it's $14,000 for the generic for 3 months supply.
How can anyone afford that? Arthur?
They can't. We get about, depending on what you're buying, we get about $1,400. But still, that's prohibitive number. But better than $14,000.
Who do they expect to pay $14,000? Who do they expect to pay $14,000?
I've seen medications that are not covered. They're $97,000 for 3 months.
Arthur.
No.
I mean, I believe you, but I am floored as you're telling me this.
Well, you have people that have hepatitis C, have hepatitis B, have cancer.
Doesn't mean
have
they have
multiple
any
sclerosis.
money.
The prices on these products are prohibitive. Let me just.
So, are they passing on the research? Is that why it's so expensive? What is
my
it?
opinion is they spend. Well, first of all, I know for a fact they spend more money on marketing than they do on research, and we're the only country in the world, other than New Zealand, that runs advertising on television. They don't allow television advertising anywhere else in the world.
But this hasn't happened until recently. I don't think 10 years ago I ever saw this, the advertising on TV. This is a new thing.
Well, that's their new thing. I mean, I actually saw them advertising, what was the product? It was for hepatitis C and Xjade. Oh, my God, I think that product's $97,000, depending on depending on the insurance.
Well, you're blowing me away today. This is quite a conversation.
Blowing you away. When I have to give someone a price. Here, Gleevec.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I made a mistake. If you're taking the generic Gleevec 400 milligrams and you're taking it once a day, it's $14,000 on my wife's insurance.
Oh my God.
We charge $498.
Oh, you
for that
are
same
such
medication.
a godsend. Oh, my,
Okay.
I'm so appreciative
now that's
of you.
generic Gleevec. If you're taking the 100, the price is only $3,800 for a quarter.
But
that's
you're
once a day.
able to reduce it that much.
Here, I saw an ad for Harvoni. That's for hepatitis C.
And I've seen that advertised.
$98,000 if it's not covered.
I am seeing this on his sheet.
We happen to have access to a generic version of it that's not sold in the United States. And if you're getting, I'm just taking a look. If you for 84 tablets, which is close to a 3-month supply, we happen to get about $1,600 for it.
Now you see,
and I feel terrible when I have to give that price. I've told the people that work for me that we don't take the markups.
You are so nice.
We keep the markups on cancer drugs,
so nice.
on the hepatitis medications. For the we don't take the kind of markups that I hate to say it, that the Canadians do.
Oh my heavens! You really are something. This makes glad we talked about this, because it just shows that we needed someone like you in this business. Oh, my heavens.
I feel so good after we, and so do the girls, the women that work for me. They feel so good when someone says, I just spent $400 for a month's supply, and we told them it was $130.
Amazing what you do.
And that was for 3 months.
Amazing what you do. No wonder you just love this business.
You know what? It's giving back to the community.
Oh, you are so special. We need to find an award, an honor award for you.
It's enough that you say what you say.
Well,
thank you.
I am just floored. I'm so appreciative of you. Let me give you a phone number to call. If you're hearing these numbers, who knows what you're paying? Call them at 1-888-980-8564. That's 888-980-8564, and be amazed. It's just, and then they of course have a website, which is globalmeds.com. SavOn, globalmeds.com. SAVON, globalmeds.com. And then if they get on there, can they see everything?
No, we only give some samples, and we haven't updated it in a long time. I really put up the site. When someone says, I don't know anything about you, I said, then you can bring up our site, and it tells you everything that we do and the types of products that we handle. We are not allowed to put individual prices like the Canadians do. That's an understanding we have with our New Zealand supplier.
Well, that's fine. So they just make that one phone call and they'll tell you.
Yeah, we just get prices. And again, we have I don't know, 32 items on the page. We handle 7,500 items. We don't handle
put the
everything.
Most popular? Is that what you put here?
These
on
are
the
these are
page?
the big sellers.
And so when someone calls, though, and you make this arrangement with them, is it simple? Is it simple to?
Well, we give them a price, and they say, "Oh, that sounds good." And we tell them that we can send you a form since we don't offer the form online, and we'll either email you or mail you a form. You send back the form, and the form really has information about the medications that you take. Our pharmacy needs to know if there's any conflicts with the medications, and they often get back to us and say, "Hey, the doctor wrote a prescription that's conflicting with another medication." That they're
That's
taking.
great
That's because people use so many different doctors.
So you're
and then we tell them, and this is the point, that it takes about 3 to 4 weeks for the product to arrive from overseas.
So people have to really look ahead.
We tell them to not to run short. We do call them. We tell them to give us a call when they have a month's supply remaining, and to refill. We tell them if they have a prescription remaining, if refills remaining, and if there's been a change in price, either up or down. Unfortunately, it's more up than down because the manufacturers keep going up, and the dollar is weak, so that the UK, Canada, the prices have been going up.
So this is not for acute care problems where someone's taking some sort of a medication because they have the flu. This is strictly for something that's long-term.
Long-term. People who are COPD, they have irritable bowel syndrome, colitis, they have diabetic, and they take medications. We don't sell anything that's refrigerated, especially down here in Florida. That dry ice does not hold up. And our biggest sellers are as I said, the breathing ones, the COPD, asthma medications. It is the people who are taking pills, not shots, for the diabetes. People who have all kinds of gastro problems.
You told me that Cialis and some of those are very popular.
God bless my seniors. Men. Recently, Cialis 5 milligram has been approved for the prostate. And
I heard that.
The 5 milligram Cialis that we sell is generic. It's not generic here in the U.S. It's our biggest seller. We are a call center for a pharmacy. We require prescriptions, unlike some sites that are illegal sites that are up there saying, you don't need a prescription to get Cialis or Viagra, and then you get a sugar pill. But we do sell 90 5 milligram Cialis it's a shocker. It's $97 for a 3-month supply plus shipping cost.
But now you're saying it is
and
good
that's
for
a pill,
others.
by the way, that sells for $60 a pill.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Now, isn't that something? But you also said now they have discovered it is for something else, too, for the prostate.
Yes, that's been recent, and that's why it's become our number one seller.
So that's great. Well, okay. So, and I'm thinking about this because, you always come to the expos, and the expo, there's a woman there that gives away condoms, and she gave away 7,500 condoms at our last expo.
People
so
will
somebody's
take anything.
Doing something.
Well, I make balloons,
Is that? And they are all colored. Are you kidding? Oh. They gave me a bag, and I didn't know what to do with them. I just kind of tossed them. Oh. They make balloons. Water. Put water, blow them up, right?
Oh,
Yeah, that's great. Give it to your grandchildren. Say, blow it up, right? They're condoms.
What can I tell you?
Okay.
What can I tell you? Seniors are active. I have to tell you, seniors are active.
But I'm glad that they're taking precaution. A lot of times, once someone gets a little bit older, they say, I don't need that anymore. And that's good that that's happening. But let's get back to these other kinds of medications. Now, so you sell generic, but you also sell...
Branded,
both.
Now, with branded, take a product such as Advair Discus. It's made by GlaxoSmithKline. They happen to have about a half a dozen plants around the world. They have a plant in Turkey. And the European Union's equivalent to our FDA oversees that, and they have agreements with various countries to import medications, such as and almost every major manufacturer has a plant in Turkey, which they provide medication to Eastern Europe.
Well, in your next article,
and the cost is mind-boggling lower than what it costs here in the U.S. Same medication, it's just.
Yeah, this is also interesting because I've always been on the side of let everybody have the least expensive things they can have. It's not. A lot of people want to make so much money on everybody, but especially the seniors. I know we have to have controls.
We have no controls over branded medications. There is nobody overseeing the cost of branded medications. The Veterans Administration is allowed to negotiate, but the Medicare is not allowed to negotiate.
I don't really understand that. We're not going to get into a political discussion, but I never understood that, why they can't negotiate with I know he's making something about money. Okay. But the point is that you as an entrepreneur took this on to do, and we love you for it. And I'm going to just give your number again and thank you, and we'll look forward to your next article. But here the number is to call 1-888-980-8564. Website is SavOnGlobalMeds.com. Right? I got it.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you, Arthur, so much.